find much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1991, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk. We are live. Wednesday night, the 15th day of the month of May. Let's get down to business. Tonight's topic, as you guys can tell from the subject heading, what's on your mind tonight? So as always, give it a second before we get going back and forth. Won't be on long tonight, but just wanted to find out what's going on, man. I posted an article earlier, or a video earlier in reference to what has become somewhat of a last-minute ordeal where they stopped flight from U.S. to Venezuela. So that's definitely going to be interesting because typically when that happens, that's usually signs that they're going to send some troops or something down there or reactivate some troops or something that's already down there and start intervening more so in Venezuelan affairs. But as always, let me check in the chat, see who's tuning in. And more importantly, the lines should be open. So we'll see how that goes this evening. But the number above my head, 1-313-462-0027. Let's find out what's going on. So we got Spirit. We got Antonio. Good evening. E. Little says crypto to the moon. Scott Robinson. Hi, Mike. Always great to watch. I have learned so much. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for tuning in this evening. We got D. Robbie here. And we got a couple more people watching us. For more importantly, those that are watching, feel free in the chat to let me know where you're watching from. I would like to see some new names. Who else is on here? Shout us out in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Any new viewers, as always, let me know where you're watching from via the chat, and I'll make sure to definitely give you a shout out. Harlem Real Estates, how you doing? Chauncey Man 2K5 says, what you think about Stellar Loomis up 25% today? Stellar, I'm familiar, but I have not checked into it. And so to my knowledge, a good portion of all the cryptocurrencies, primarily the altcoins, are up, I think, 10%, give or take. So not surprised at all. Says Mike, what are your thoughts on the LGBTQ people? Trump admin seems to be removing birthright citizenship of those that aren't married. Do you think that's just? Spirit, let me see here. What do I think of the LGBTQ people? Well, regardless of the label that society tends to give them because of their sexual preference. Offline. So it looks like I'm back on. Let me see here. Might have some issues here. Let me know if in the chat if I'm still present or not. So I see it said it went off, came back on, so I'm still here. Looks like. But in the chat, let me know if I'm still streaming, so I know. Okay, it looks like I'm still streaming. So yeah, so back to that question. What are my thoughts about that? I am neither. Let me see. How would I say it? There are human beings that have been labeled because of their sexual preference or whatever. That's on them. I have no problems with that. What I do have a problem with is when that community there decides to, or politicians decide to force upon the rest of society certain types of laws and policies that favors that particular community there, as opposed to just being neutral and removing themselves from anything of that nature in general, as far as special privileges or anything of that nature. So I personally have no problem, with that type of community there. God bless them. I pray for them, love them, and so it's all fine and good with me. So no problems there. As far as the birthright citizenship removal, I'm not aware of that, Spirit. So shine some light on that via chat for me. Let me know. I have not checked into that. and that is not something that I typically would even really probably comment on, just because it has nothing to do really with our monetary system or whatnot. But share your thoughts, Spirit. I'm open to hearing. Chauncey Man from Texas. We got BSO, says, I'm watching from the deep in the woods of Ohio. Welcome, my friend. Appreciate you taking time for us. We got E. Little from Stockton, California. Faith from Modesta. How you doing? Antonio from Jacksonville, Florida. Genesis watching from home. The Halving Show, Huddle. Let me see here. Okay, so point of case is I actually just saw a video mentioning that a national emergency has just been declared in reference to technology, and it sounds like they're referring to the what's it called, Huawei little ordeal from China. So let me see. National Emergency Act. Let's see what pops up. See if anything has hit the mainstream news as of this evening. All right, so let me see here. Here's an article, the very first article here. I'll share this so that everybody can see. So it says, Trump declares national emergency to protect U.S. networks from foreign espionage. And so once again, here we go. My first thoughts on this is solely because of the whole Huawei telecommunications or company, whatever, in reference to this 5G and how Huawei seems to have a monopoly on the 5G technology as well as infrastructure, and because they're not letting the U.S. in on a couple things on the back end, more than likely what I believe is going on. Here they are labeled as, probably terrorist activity or whatever they're doing. So this is quite lengthy, I must admit. So if anybody had a chance to read through this, feel free to shine some highlights in. I don't really want to read this all the way through, but national emergency in reference to technology and technical things. So interesting. We'll see how this plays out and what the ramifications from this might be, because this plays into the whole tariff situation, because this is more so geared towards China. So we will see. We will see. But what else is going on in the chat? It's in you good spirit. Let me see. Daily Beast show. Here's another article here. Open the tab. Let me see what this is about. All righty. We got here. So it says, Trump administration to LGBT couples. You're out of wedlock. Kids aren't citizens. Interesting. Let me move this. Says Trump administration to LGBT couples, you're out of wedlock, kids aren't citizens. Children of U.S. citizens are falling victim to a policy that recognizes their parents' marriage and strips them out of their birthright citizenship. So let me see here. Birthright citizenship. Well, first off, apart from a real push during the last administration to basically cater towards and do everything possible to continue to push a national recognition of the LGBT community into every form of society by labeling man and two men married. I mean, all that type of stuff. I don't get into that because I don't necessarily tend to agree with a lot of that based upon my spiritual beliefs. But with that being the case, without even knowing much about this whole marriage situation, apart from, once again, two individuals of the same sex being allowed to get married, I personally don't necessarily agree with that. And so everything that comes with the benefits of being married, I personally don't really see the same-sex marriage the way that most people might. So it's better off if I probably not share my personal viewpoints, just because everyone don't share the same thing. So to each his own, to interpret this however you feel. But me personally, I'd rather stay away from this, just because this is one of the things where it boils down a lot to your core beliefs and what you value. And unfortunately, as society, will be impacted by the decisions that are made that lumps everybody in together, even though we may not necessarily agree with it. So I will leave that at that. But if anybody have any thoughts or comments, feel free to let me know in the chat. I'm open to discussion with that. Says Faith said, how could out of wedlock kids not be citizens? That is just dumb. Yeah, I agree. Not sure how the citizenship aspect comes into it, assuming they're foreign residents that probably moved here, got married, kids were born here, and then all of a sudden this little situation here where they're saying they're no longer citizens, but if they were born here, natural born citizens, that they probably have a social security card, which means they're a legal, lawful citizen here. So not sure on that, but that can go down a whole rabbit hole. It says non-LGBT or straight couples have kids out of wedlock all the time. I agree. Well, that does just mean isn't says when they're born, make them citizens, not what gender their parents are. Very true. What up, Mike? Had to put my 6 kids to sleep. 6 kids to sleep. Yeah. What else we got here? It says, yes, please avoid of trolls. Yeah. So we go from talking about monetary situations to political to, I'm not even sure what category that falls into. But anyway, keep it moving. So what else is going on out here? What is happening today? And of course, we know cryptocurrencies has taken somewhat of a spike upwards. And so for my crypto people out there, is this just a pump and then a dump, or is this going to be some real action behind this? Feel free to let me know in the chat. I'm curious to find out. Let me see what happened with any news with the Dow. Did it drop, come back, or let me see what that's talking about. And then we have, let me see. Here's a little Dow Jones action right here. Dow Jones Industrial Average. So it looks like it did a little bit, somewhat of a recovery. We go 5 days, maybe not. 25,648. It was up 115 today. Yeah, man. I wonder, and this is just a question for people who are probably non-crypto more so, but I wonder, do people actually follow the move of the Dow the same way that the crypto community follow the prices of cryptos? Like, are there days in the stock market, because I do not follow it like that, where there'll be a certain company, apart from like, Uber or any IPOs, are there companies that just take off and have major increases that go parabolic in one day, then recover, or is it pretty much, fluctuations and small incremental gains? And so I'm thinking like people who are waiting on or betting on or depending on the stock markets to rise in a way that will be sustainable might have another thing coming. But that's just my opinion. My opinion. As always, the number should be working. Somebody call in and let me know. I want to make sure the lines are open. It's always good to be able to hear people's voice directly. It says a crypto rally is the real deal. Yeah, so for those that, of course, Bitcoin, wherever that goes, everything else tend to follow. But are there any sleepers out there that anybody's keeping an eye on that could be something worth paying attention to, because it's really doing something out there that's noticeable or not noticeable yet? Omni says 3 bump and then we fly to 50,000 and drought scare, then back down to approximately 13 or 14 for the summer, then back up to 100 to 120K for Christmas. So Omni, you are very consistent on talking about the $100,000 Christmas. You've hit on that a couple times. So we got a call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Michigan.
1 second. Let me get this. All right, go ahead. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's CJ.
CJ, how you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, I was calling about information on yes.
Okay.
Gold.
Hold on. You're breaking up here. Let me see if I can get you a little clearer. All right, let's try that one more time. Say that again.
I was wondering if
I
know that gold affect the U.S. dollar, cryptocurrency we were to experience.
Ooh, okay. So I heard something about gold and I heard something about cryptocurrencies, but for whatever reason, it's not crystal clear. So I unfortunately, I have you here, but I'm not really hearing you that well. Let's try to repeat it again. If not, then it might be on my end. So I might need you to type in the chat, but let's try it one more time so I can hear you.
I was just wondering if affects cryptocurrency in the recession.
Cryptocurrencies in recession. That's what I got. So, this is when it gets awkward because I heard cryptocurrency, I heard recession, so I'm not sure what the in between was.
All right, I'll drop it in the chat.
I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry about that. I got to fix this on my side, but I appreciate you. Do it in the chat, and I'll answer it for you, my friend.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Let me get this right. It's awkward when, because everything should be good on my end, but things do happen. Anyway, so let's keep it moving. We got an article here. Let me see here. I'll open this up. All right, let's try it again. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's low blood pressure from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Low blood pressure. How you doing this evening, my friend?
Good. I've been meaning to want to talk to you about cryptocurrency and what you think about this idea.
Mm-hmm. So
let me give it to you.
All right. So what do I think about cryptocurrency?
No, about this idea. I'm going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is what I have a problem with cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
All cryptocurrency is inside a computer somewhere
Mm-hmm.
with your wallet, right? Your private wallet that nobody has to see, right?
Right. Yep. You have the open. You have the. Yeah. I got you. Go ahead.
Okay, you got two wallets, right? The public wallet and then your
the
wallet.
private. Yeah.
Anyway.
Correct.
Okay, this private wallet that nobody could see, you have to keep it tucked under your pillow.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be inside a computer program in order for it to tally what's in the wallet, the actual address of the wallet. So there has to be a way to break into that and figure it out, because a program has to know this wallet has this amount of Bitcoin or whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
and it has to be recorded somewhere. So how could someone not break into that, steal that wallet, and do what they want with it?
Good question. So the first thing that comes to my mind is the fact that apart from you got the public address key, which is what people can use to send to you, and from that public address key, they can see your transactions on the ledger. And then on the other end, the private key is your way of getting into that blockchain to access the funds or the coins in there. And so what can prevent people from getting all that information? I would imagine, like I've heard about programs where people can instill malware on your computer, and they can see your screen, so they can see they can see on what you see and what you type in, type of thing, so they can get access to your private key, which would then give them access to your entire little access to that particular wallet or blockchain. But as far as the intermediary stuff between the public and the private key, all that blockchain stuff, from what we're told and what we see thus far, it's encrypted somehow on the ledger, in the internet, however that operates. So, and that's what makes it so unique, is the fact that between point A and point B, there's no intermediary that can actually intervene in those funds as they move, apart from just seeing where they go and being able to track your location and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I take on that.
But see, the thing I don't understand is that program has to know when you access your wallet,
mm-hmm.
it has to know that is correct, what you're doing to it. So it has to be programmed in that program. It has
mm-hmm.
to know this is the key. So someone has to be able to go in there and see it.
Yeah, so as far as the program itself and how it actually works within itself, I don't know those type of details, but I know that as far as how it's been, I'm not a coder, but how it's coded and how it's written, all those transaction type of processes are encoded inside of there to where it seems to work with no problem. So I don't know how that works on the technical side, so I'm not the one really to even go any deeper than that. But so far so good. There has been no reported disruptions apart from either the forking, which has been meant to rewind programs to get to recover stolen funds or whatever. Everything has been running pretty smooth to where millions of people think that it's going to be the next big thing, and as they say, investor funds are coming in, so they're actually coming in thinking that it's secure. So far so good as far as people being able to not be able to hack it internally so far.
I don't know. I'm still scared of it.
Yeah, so you're skeptical. So you're skeptical of the whole cryptocurrency as a medium of exchange / get you a couple coins and hold it in your own wallet type of thing, huh?
Exactly. And the other thing is, they say, well, it's slow. It takes a while. I don't understand how Visa and MasterCard, they got that down to a science. And the other thing, Mike, is like, okay, Visa, MasterCard, you get frauded. They fraud in a bank. There's laws to protect you. Somebody fraud you with Bitcoin, you can't do nothing. Who's going to be responsible? No one.
Yeah, that's why it's all about, gamble or speculate or invest, whichever word you choose to use in reference to that sector at your own risk, and only be willing to transact and put in there what you may be willing to lose. More importantly, before you will get involved, make sure you know what you're doing and well versed on how to protect, store, and transact so that, you can secure yourself as best as possible, because the advantage is by it being something that is not regulated, by it not being something that is in the control of other people, it puts responsibility on you as the owner, which I think is how things should operate, because you are in control of everything that you do. And if you lose it, that's on you, and there's no backup. There is no insurance policy on it, which I think is beneficial for those that want to separate themselves from the system that we're currently under, which puts more responsibility on you. So if you want to reap the rewards, you got to be able to take some of the risk with that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you, Mike.
Yeah,
and then the last thing I got about crypto, there's no privacy. Everything's on that blockchain.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Well,
one more question, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you coming down to Corpus?
As of now, I don't have any necessary plans, but you never know what can happen this summer or this fall.
Hey, let me know if you're in town, man.
For sure. And let me know if you make it up this way.
Nah, I ain't going to Detroit, man.
Oh, man, you missing out. You missing out on a D.
I was.
Oh, my goodness. All right, man. I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right.
Have a good one. Yeah.
All right,
yeah, good stuff. Corpus Christi. Yeah, man. So let me get into the chat. Let me check in with some people there, because I'm sure we got some techies out there that could probably explain that better than I could have. So what we got here? Says it's simple, guys. Anything encrypted with the public key can only be decrypted with the private key. It's math. Good way to explain that, Spirit. And what else we got? It says, give me your private key account info, sir. No problem. I'll give it to you right now. Let me answer this call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Q from Chicago. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Q from Chicago. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Hey, man. What I wanted to talk to you about, man, was on China. But I'm going to have to take a detour today, man.
Okay.
I'm going to need to call a specific agency out in the United States. Would you allow me to do that?
Call a specific agency out. How about you give us the abbreviated, or give us just the what you call it? This give me the, don't give me the full name, but just break it down into just letters so we can kind of decipher it on our own, if possible.
No, you guys don't know this one. This is something that's completely different. You don't know this agency.
How about this? Real quick, can you type it in the chat, and then I'll pull up on my screen, so we don't have to necessarily say it. I'll just pull up on the screen.
Let me get it to you.
So if you type it in, I'll highlight it and then put up on the screen, and then we can all look at it. Because I've noticed that it's becoming more and more predominant that depending on the conversation topic, depending on the words I say or what's said my way, immediately as soon as I'm done, this video is automatically like under review, and I'm like, dang, I didn't really, we didn't do anything, but obviously something was said. And so I've had videos recently that acronym. I have videos recently that are not advertiser friendly at all. I'm thinking like, I've never had that before. That's different. So yeah. But anyway, but type it for me and I'll definitely pull it up on the screen and you can share your thoughts on it.
It's in there.
All right, let me see if I can find it.
It's the National Background Investigation Bureau is the name of the bureau.
Okay, I never heard that one. But go ahead and shine some light on it.
Yeah. So basically, man, just a little, a background about myself, bro. Yes, I have used to work for the government.
Okay.
The last time I worked for the government, I was fired because I went to go vote Republican.
Okay.
So I was. Yes, this has been an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the last job I had, it was a public trust clearance, and I was doing some work on the VA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defending networks. That's all I did. Well, after they fired me, my background investigation is still ongoing,
mm-hmm.
right? I don't care. I got a very interesting phone call, and they said we would like to talk to you. I said no. I said I no longer work for you because you fired me. So no, there is nothing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So now they decide, after I say this, to call me again and to call my parents and are disturbing my family household. So I'm going to call out Ms. Bobby and say, please never bother me again and do not bother my family.
Okay.
If
So,
you do,
yeah.
I'm sorry. If you do, I will be writing some very interesting people and I will call some people. So please do not bother me. Do not bother my family. I have given you my answer in private, and now I'm giving you my answer in public. No, I am not interested.
All right. Well, so the big question is whether or not they will actually get that particular message via the show. So if somebody's watching, respect my man's privacy, leave him alone. Or, yeah. So watch this. Give us if you don't mind sharing, because I'm curious now. So I'm looking at this. This is what is it called? The National Background Investigations Bureau, and it's .gov. I've never heard of this before. What particular agency here, apart from the obvious background investigation, but what type of background investigation do they do? Is it like behind people's backs, or like credit score type stuff, or what?
They do everything. So basically, if you are applying for any kind of job or any kind of clearance level, depending on your clearance level, they do a background investigation is initiated. Like with Justice Kavanaugh,
Mm-hmm.
anybody who applies to the government will have some kind of background investigation done on them. With me, it was a public trust clearance. Hey, no problem. I signed up for that. No problem. When I'm working for you, I understand. Hey, I'm an American citizen, blah, blah, blah. But they fired me, Mike. They fired me, okay? So now there's no need for any background investigation because I have no access to do anything, but you still want to get your information. No. That's not how this works. I have rights. I have freedom. And if I need to, I will do what I need to do. They do this to everybody. So that's what they do. Depending on your level of what you're trying to access or your information, they go really, really, really deep inside of your background, usually about 5 to 10 years.
Damn. So they're reaching out to you to have you come back, or have you do some side work, or just to pester you, or what do you think they're reaching out for you to at this point if they haven't already let you go?
Man, this is them, because I have a very interesting background. So when you see somebody who has my kind of a background, you want to ask a lot of questions like how, why, blah 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 blah, and it's fun. If I was in that role, bro, if I was doing some kind of role with the government, I'll have no problem.
Yeah.
But because they fired me for voting Republican, no, you get nothing from me, and I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna allow them to harass me or my family. Yeah. And I can take action if I have to.
So let me ask you a question. So how did they know you voted Republican?
It's not the National Background Bureau who did that. There were some other people that I was working around. More specifically, my manager, who was a Democrat, who voted for Obama. He does not like the president. He had a problem with me when I told people in the office, I said, guys, you need to go and vote. And I wasn't, saying vote Republican, but I just told people it's important that they go out and vote. He knew my predilection, and he decided that he didn't like it, and he used the opportunity to fire me.
Yeah. Interesting. Cute, man. So it sounds like you own some Jason Bourne type stuff out there, man. You got people calling you and you work for the government. Yeah, so so you say you have an interesting past. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. But now, I appreciate you sending the video, my friend, and putting that out there and thinking of the community when you're out on your trip or whatnot, man. I appreciate that. Definitely in the future, your future endeavors, keep us in mind. I'd love to see some film or whatnot, and definitely, I should love to share it because it's good to get a different perspective from all around the planet. So appreciate you on that one, my friend.
No problem, buddy.
All right, man. Have a good evening, boss. Yeah, man. Good stuff as always. Good to have people call in and catch up. I've never heard of the National Background Investigation Bureau before, so I'm always learning something. But what's going on in the chat? Any new thoughts out there? It says, guys asking about crypto wallets. Look up how Ledger or Trezor wallet works. It's called cold storage, and the safest way to store your cryptocurrency. There's 12 or 24 word seed. 1.8 wallets mainly have the letters and numbers types. Yeah. What else is here? Can't hack my silver, people. Says Mike, do you stack a lot of silver or do you stick to gold? Clayton, great question there. I label myself a precious metals enthusiast. So since I've had my awakening moment several years ago from, my prior years of having did some traveling, I become aware of what's going on. And from that point on, I more so look at anything that retains value. So when it comes to what exactly, I like both of them. So right now, one is a lot cheaper than the other. So I tend to buy what is cheapest, knowing that it will one day have a better ratio aspect to gold. But then I'm also more of a newly rekindled gold enthusiast because of the gold team and things I'm doing with that. So I like both. I do like both. Can't go wrong with neither one of them. And so it's got here. It says, word seed are more merely a hack to make it easier to type your errors. It doesn't improve security. In fact, it reduces it. So it looks like we have questions about what type of wallets or whatever. And so there's all types of wallets out there. And so Ledger, Treasure, and then there's, what else we got out there? There's the wallets with the exchanges inside of them. What are some new things out there that's happening? What do you guys think about the blockchain-based phones that are coming that have the actual cold storage inside the phones? Do you guys think those are going to actually take off and be probably used more so than the cold wallets that you got to plug in and put your stuff in? And then would you guys feel comfortable using actual phones with the cold wallet in it? Is that possible? Says Mike, low blood pressure. Says Mike, you got more than 3 monster boxes. I wish. It says there's not all types of wallets. There's just private key, which is a number. Yeah, it says word seeds, whatever, know about the same things as me. So let me ask you guys a question, of which I didn't hear much about it today, but will we be actually sending some rockets and some missiles towards Iran? And so here's a article that I just pulled up here. And apart from knowing that, I guess there reports were earlier that Americans were told to leave. Some city in Iraq, and then I heard reports about 120,000 U.S. troops going into Iraq, the borderline, looking towards Iran. So what do you guys think about that, man? Will we be in war by next week, this spring or the summer or what? So here's an article. It says, thedailybeast.com says, Trump readies a new war on Iran's economy. So this is an interesting picture here. It's a quite lengthy article here. I don't think I'm going to actually read through that one. As I ordered to elect Barack Obama start a war with Iran. So here's they did mention, pull out this tweet here. It says, this is Donald Trump back in 2011 on Twitter. And he said, in order to get elected, Barack Obama will start a war with Iran. One thing I did notice is that every president has had their own foreign policy blunder in the form of a war. So George Bush had, what he had? He had several things under his watch. It was still in Afghanistan, to my knowledge. And what else? Syria, we still have boots there unofficially. And that, and Obama inherited a little bit of that. So it's probably, Trump basically is due for his own war of some kind. So I just off that trend there, I would say that, he probably owes, all the special interest groups / military industrial complex organizations a war. So we could be going to war a lot sooner based upon that, in my opinion. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Eric. What's up, bro?
Jared, how you doing, my friend? What's on your mind?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just trying to figure out whether we're going to war or not. Are we going to war anytime soon? Or will we start a war, another war with Iran? I'd
rather not even entertain the thought of it, per se, because, I'm kind of spiritual in that way. And I don't know, I feel like manifestation is a very real thing. And the more we talk about something, the more we give our energy to it. We're that powerful in that way that it makes it come true. You know what I mean?
Yep, fair enough.
I feel like is why, exactly, in the news and whatnot, while they keep putting out a certain narrative, regardless of whether or not it's a lie, it becomes true after some time,
Yeah.
That's just how humanity is in our consciousness and whatnot. But
yeah.
aside from that, though, I just wanted to say that, damn, you just threw me all off, man.
I apologize.
The whole thing that I was calling for, I forgot, man.
I threw a curveball at you, man.
For initially, but, geez, you know what? Actually, I'll call you back if I think about it. But then it was something that I really wanted to say.
Good deal. So
I appreciate you either way.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a call back.
My bad. So next time I'll let you get right into your thought. I apologize.
All right.
All right, my friend.
Worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, threw a curveball at him, threw him off his thought. Interesting. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. It says, who has money for what? Oh man, where we go? Never stop. So let me see this. Venezuela. It says Patrick James, Trump Putin phone call. Trump changed his tone and now says no war in Venezuela. Really? I didn't see that one. And so if that's the case, I wonder what was said, or if did they actually have their phone call? Let me see Trump Putin talk. Because I'm thinking, like, when they get together, they're talking about, okay, they're really like talking, I would assume, deep things like, should we bomb them or should we not bomb them? And then Putin like, if you bomb them, then we're going to have to, pretend like we're going to come down there too. So we got to, I wanted these meetings where, we can only get like just the cover up story, what they want us to think they talked about, but they be talking about a lot more than what we come across. But I have super chat here from Ace One. Appreciate that. It says, Jay Sherman, your congressman, said Bitcoin should be banned by the government because it's not the Federal Reserve note. Whoever voted for him is stupid. Yeah, I've heard about that. I personally, let me actually look this up because I'm not even, I haven't even given it paid it much attention, just because one of the things where, what political figure would be opposed to giving the people options, as opposed to having them stay with something that's basically on its last leg and actually robbing the public. But let me find an article here. Anything that pops up here. Richard Sherman, it says Jay-Z. What else we got? SC Chair Agreement, Fireworks Assessing. Yeah, I don't see an article to pull up here. Comment Jay Clayton. Hearing devolves into Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, I don't see, let me see here. I don't see the article. Congress to ban Bitcoin. Let me see what comes up. Bitcoin threatens to take power from the field. Okay, here's an interesting article here. I don't see nothing wrong with this. Where we at? I don't see nothing wrong with this one at all. It says Bitcoin. This is from Forbes as of today. It says Bitcoin threatens to take power from the U.S. Federal Reserve. And so it shows a picture here of Brad Sherman. So you meant Brad. So yeah, so let me see. It says Bitcoin, this guy, yeah, like why would you even care to actually waste your energy as if like, you took away gold. You allowed the central bankers to take away gold. Now you want to take away something else and stick people with paper notes is depreciating. Yeah, so it says an awful lot of our international power comes from the fact that the U.S. dollar is the standard unit of international finance and transactions, Sherman said in the meeting in the House. So yeah, so what he's probably not really willing to admit is that the dollar is losing its grip as the standard because our so-called enemies and everybody is deciding to diversify away from it. So yeah, I think he just needs something to point the blame at, but really it's more so monetary policy / just the end of an empire, more so than anything else. So I personally, yeah, wish him the best luck. But yeah, I think by him bringing it to the forefront in this manner, we'll probably give it more press, which will make more people want to actually go out and get them some Bitcoin if they haven't already. So just my thoughts there. What else we got here? It says, we can't even make gold and silver illegal. He can't make gold and silver illegal. Good point. Very good point. It says, I'll accept Bitcoin if it destroys the dollar. Low blood pressure. So just my little 2 cents on that is, you said I'll accept Bitcoin if it destroys the dollar. And my thought is, apart from, as I didn't mention this here, I mentioned it on somewhere else, but by default, I think anything that's looked at as an option or a backdoor out of fiat currencies is going to go up nominally. So even in my opinion, taking $10 and buying $10 worth of Bitcoin, which would probably be 0.0005 or something like that, will definitely a year from now, or probably a lot sooner than that, be worth a lot more than just that $10 you put in. And then if it's not, what did you really lose in the first place? So yeah. Well, we got another article here. Let's see what's going on with this one. Let me open this up. It says, so this is a North Korea one. It says from Vox. It says, why North Korea has launched 2 missile tests in less than a week. Good question there. And so my question is, without even really following this North Korea situation, apart from them not being willing to denuclearize themselves, they're sending off these test missiles. I'm assuming they're upgrading and running tests to see if they can actually reach, their enemies if they needed to. But apart from the fact that they've been labeled as a nuclear threat to the world, along with Iran, I'm thinking, like, if the world didn't mess with them directly, we let Kim Jong-un be on that little small portion of the piece of land they have there, let him be himself. I don't really necessarily see him trying to become the next global world power, to where from North Korea he's going to try to rule the world. And so I don't personally understand why, apart from the fact that we want everybody to be on the same page from the powers that be structure wise, but leave these people alone. Let them stay on their little island and do what they do and have fun and be themselves. Let them send all the missiles they want. As long as they go up and come right back down their own territory, that's fine, in my opinion. But of course, that's just me. But I personally wouldn't be out here worrying about North Korea sending something our way, because that's going to be all out. That would be the end of the whole little area. So that's going to tear up. Yeah. I'll let that go. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Eric from Texas again. What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm good, man. I'm going to shut my mouth. What's in your mind?
No worries. I don't remember specifically what it was I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
But I have something else that I'd like to discuss with you, because this just recently came to my attention, and I'd like to know your opinion on her personally.
Okay.
I saw her, and she's interesting to me. She's a vet, but she's running for president, of course. But Tulsi Gabbard, what's your take on her? Because she seems to be vehemently opposed to the whole military-industrial complex. And one of the things that she is running on is the fact that I think it was Eisenhower mentioned in one of her interviews that he said his speech industrial complex that he made to the public before some reason the word speech before he made it. So again, I just or if you've heard of this woman and how you feel about this woman as far as her.
Okay, well, I got the gist of everything until the whole Eisenhower part. For whatever reason, it just decides to act a fool on me. And so, give me the name of the person you referred to again. What's her name?
Oh,
and sure enough, as he's giving me the name, I can't hear him. Yeah, for whatever reason, like always, when the conversation gets good, it acts up on me. Try to give me that name one more time, and if not, I'll look in the chat. So I'm thinking, is it the lady from Hawaii or what? Well, I might have lost you, unfortunately. So I apologize if I did, but it's one of the things I can't control. Hello, you still there? Hello? All right, I'm going to let it go. Hello, yep, you still there? Maybe not. Okay. Well, I got a little bit of what you're trying to get across to me, but I didn't get the name of the person you're referring to. So do me a favor and type in the chat, and I'll share my thoughts on it because I don't want to speak about someone I'm not familiar with. So appreciate you calling in and give me that name in the chat again, or if anybody heard that name, type in the chat so I can look it up. It says you might remember the Rockets went over Japan mainland. Yeah, so then they sent them, was it completely over Japan or over a portion of Japan? Because I mean, clearly, you know, that's a problem there. That's you know, on some, like, you send us a rocket, if you know, that's clearly a problem. So they got to know better than that, because if they send it over Japan, that's send it over to USA, damn near the same thing. So yeah, and that's unfortunate, but he's that dumb to do that type of stuff. And so it was that name again. The name is Tulsi. Oh, okay. So let me look this up, because I be honest with you, I ain't heard of this name. So let me see what is going on with her. Speaking to her, says she drops against Assange. So I'm gonna pull her up, and so I'm not even familiar with her, so I don't know. Says Tulsi Gabbard says she would drop charges against Assange and Snowden if elected president in 2020. Interesting. Oh, hell. She would drop charges. Interesting. So let me see here. And so I don't really, let's say, would drop charges against Julian Assange. So here's the thing. Like, I don't know her, so I can't comment, because apart from right now, I've never really paid attention to her or even know who she is. But it's interesting how every candidate has their unique angle to get people's attention. So clearly, I type in her name. This is the first thing came up, that she would drop charges against Julian Assange and Eric Snowden. And so my thing is nowhere in the world, A, she's going to get in the White House, B, that she will be allowed to drop charges, because that basically is like saying, sure, just, you know, drop charges, bring them home, and let them testify in front of everybody and air out all the dirt that everybody's been doing forever. Yeah, we'll have that. No, it doesn't work that way, in my opinion. So me personally, if she's gotten this far by being able to advertise this is her sales pitch here. If she's gotten this far and been able to give this type of sales pitch, which can get some people's attention, because it's very interesting, which lets me know that she's already probably been approved and vetted out to have, you know, she's been allowed to get this. And so because she's been allowed to get this far, she's a bought and paid for individual, in my opinion. That's just my 2 cents. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Pete in Colorado.
Pete from Colorado. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Not too shabby. Well, it's on your mind. It sounds like you want to talk about Iran, but nobody's interested.
Yeah, so I thought that would be a interesting conversation piece, but it doesn't look like that's the case. And so not even really want to talk about it, because like I mentioned just a minute ago, I think that it looks like, you know, every president needs their own war stamp or need a war card. So I don't doubt that this is Trump's first or one. I did a video earlier about, you know, trying to kill two birds with one stone, meaning the Venezuela and Iran situation. They can send some troops both ways. And so, but I think it's going down regardless. But that's just me. So what do you think about it?
Well, just answer that with a question. What do Iran and Venezuela have in common?
They are not under control of the central banking model. They are not playing ball the way we want them to play, and they have a lot of oil.
And what works out for people who do that?
It doesn't end well for them at all.
No, so why is this any different?
Very true. But my only thing is, it's just, and this plays into the whole narrative that a lot of people still want to hang on to, is that Trump is not a part of the established plan. Like he's different somehow. So this, to me, does this verify that he's no different than everybody else, or he has to play ball with whoever in order to get his real agenda, or what? Because by doing this, it's basically saying he's like everybody else and he's nothing special, which doesn't really make him a shoo-in for his next term the way that he tweeted that he is. So,
well, you and I both know the Trump people are crazy. You know,
they're very fanatical with theirs. Yeah.
But nothing's changed. We only go to war for two reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had a failed coup. But don't you think it's interesting that no matter how hard they try to hype it up, nobody cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's different this time. Wouldn't you admit that?
Yeah, that is what's unique, because that little coup attempt a couple days ago should have caught more momentum, but it died down very quickly, because even the Venezuelan people didn't jump on it the way that our media tried to paint a picture, as if the military was now against Maduro or something like that, which, didn't turn out to be the case at all.
No, but when we built the case to go to Iraq, I remember being the crazy person,
mm-hmm.
And no, I'm just mainstream now. Nobody wants to go to war with Iran. Nobody wants to go to war with Venezuela, but they're still selling oil outside of the dollar, and oil is what gives our dollar value, which is what gives us our way of life.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
But people are just caught up in other problems, so the old methods aren't working now. So I figured you were interested in talking about that.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in and chiming in on that one. And so you just mentioned that people are caught up in their own problems. And so with it, then that then leads into what people are probably feeling back here on the homeland, as far as being overly concerned with their cost of living, daily lives, and things of that nature, to where who gives a damn about political or war outside of this country, is what you're saying, huh?
Well, I think that's why Trump got elected in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
And no matter how much noise they try to make, one, nobody's listening anyway, and two, nobody cares. They've got their own problems.
Yeah. Now, I wonder how will it get people's attention when they go to the gas pump? Because I just went to the gas pump yesterday, and I'm looking at the price. I'm like, I did a double take, because typically I don't pay it on mine, but I noticed yesterday, and I'm thinking like, damn, something not right here, because it was down at $3 a gallon. I'm like, whoa! So it caught my attention, and so what's that magic number you think at the gas pump before people would get real political then?
Well, a friend of mine is a high up, and he's an executive for a local chain of gas stations, and he said that's it.
Yeah,
$3 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And we've hit it here too.
Yeah.
And what also is interesting? Well, I guess I'm not a fair person to say this because I don't really watch the news, but I'm not hearing anything about it. But gas prices are going up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be a lot of chatter about that. It's just the only chatter we hear is everything is awesome.
Yeah, economy, all type unemployment and whatever else they want to throw out there. Everybody's working. Everybody got jobs. Everybody's living good out here nowadays. Yeah. Okay.
Does anybody believe the unemployment number?
Well, to point back to what you mentioned, nobody truly cares, because everybody's concerned with their own lives and taking care and provide for themselves, to where nobody really cares, because as long as I'm employed, as long as you got a job, everybody's fine. But it's not until you don't have a job that you become concerned and curious about the true state of the numbers they're giving us. So, yeah, we'll see.
Well, I'm a simple guy. I like the USA Debt Clock site, right?
Yeah.
If you go to the year 2000, because it lets you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were more jobs in the year 2000 than there are right now, even though our population's like 30 million higher.
Yeah. and then when you look at the number of people that's no longer counted, is what really it doesn't seem to really bother people either. So
unemployment participation or employment participation, it's of age 16 to 64, it's only 60% right now.
Yeah, so I got the clock up,
and that's excluding kids and old people, and but I mean, just the narrative is just so far separated from reality. I don't think anybody pays attention to it anymore.
Yeah, I would agree. But yet, if these gas prices, I'm looking at the gas prices according to, let me see, it says today's AAA national average is $2.86. And so on the West Coast, according to this map here, it's already, so we got Utah, Indiana, it's already $3 plus, close to $4 I'm assuming that's California. $4 in California. Alaska's $3.40. Here is $2.91. So yeah, so of course down south in Texas is $2.57.
Well, I paid over $3 yesterday, and that's for 85, and they don't even sell that where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the was it 83 regular stuff over here? Oh man.
No, but like I said,
E85, okay.
87, 89, and 91. But
yeah.
No, but the take-home message for tonight though is that the whole Iran thing, the narrative is so over the top, but even your well-informed audience, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Yeah. I'd agree, man. I agree. So, I'd imagine that when a bomb is dropped or we get all-time highs in gas prices, then we're going to get a lot more people engaged in tonight's conversation wanting to talk about Iran and the gas prices and things of that nature because they're going to feel it directly in some form. So, but hey, man. Pete.
It's obviously, that the other part of it is that China and Russia we don't fight against them directly because we could all destroy each other. We fight these proxy wars.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just an extension of the financial war that we're waging on China because they're buying so much oil from Iran. We're the largest producer of oil, and China's the largest importer of oil. But they're not playing ball with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, that just means Iran needs some freedom and democracy.
Yeah.
Whether people buy into it or not, something's going to happen. Those 3 ships that were, bombed didn't really get any traction, but something will.
Yeah, definitely. And my thing is, I didn't know, I didn't see the whole thing in video form, but I just saw ships with a dent in it, with a dent in it. And I'm thinking, like, what type of bomb just put a dent in the ship? The ship should have been sunk by now or blew up if it was really intended to make some real noise, in my opinion. 'Cause I'm thinking, like, what type of bombs are those that just put a dent in the ship? So that smelled a little funny.
Some of our lesser, older bombs,
Yeah. So the ships are that much of higher quality now, where our old bombs don't no longer do no damage. So I just find that to be really funny or suspicious in nature. Because why not just sink the ship and blow the damn thing up? And then that's going to really piss people off. You see oil at the bottom or the whole little sea area covered with oil because the ship's on fire. That'd definitely get people's attention right there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But it didn't work.
Yeah.
My only other question for you is, did you see Nigel Farage on BBC?
I did not. Give me the rundown.
Oh, you just had to watch it. They were just trying to... quote things that he may or may not have said 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he just flipped out on them, called them, and have you come to any of the rallies with tens of thousands of people there? Are you interested at all in what's happening in your country? And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But
I pull
I
up
couldn't
here.
believe they let him on.
I'm going to check it out there. Good deal, man. Well, hey, Pete, man, I appreciate you calling in. About to ready to get ready. Dang it. That's killing me. Anyway, I'm about to get ready to dial it off tonight. So I appreciate you calling as always, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Goodbye.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. So as always, I apologize for not taking our call, but we're running on an hour. And that's well beyond the typical streaming process. But since someone calling in, I don't want to be rude. Let me get this last call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Tony from Oakland. I almost didn't answer, but I knew it had to be Tony from Oakland, so I answered.
I appreciate you doing that, man. And just to finish off on your topic of Iran and Venezuela.
Yeah.
You got to remember that everyone is involved in the UN. Mm-hmm. So nothing's going to get done until the UN says it's okay or gets NATO sanctioned or NATO approved.
Yeah.
And then too, when it comes to the oil, that you got to remember, Trump is achieving what he wants to achieve when he keeps the oil off the market. Not necessarily going after the oil, but he needs to keep Venezuela's oil off the market. He needs to keep Iran's oil off the market.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, he's after their oil. No, he's just trying to keep it off the market.
Fair enough. Keep it off the market, and then also keep it out of the hands of those that are buying it, not using dollars.
No, well, not necessarily, because in order to use the oil, in order to transfer that money over, you have to be on the SWIFT system. He kicked them off the SWIFT system to keep the oil off the market.
Yeah, but Iran and Venezuela are getting money not without that SWIFT system. They're getting their funds because, as Pete just mentioned a minute ago, China's still acquiring Iran's oil off the SWIFT system because they're probably on the chip system. So they're getting funds back and forth.
They're getting funds. I ain't gonna lie to you about that. They're getting funds, but what about the receiving end? They've got to be on the SWIFT system. They have to be on the. You may be getting oil from Venezuela and trading in crypto, but when you go trade that money back in, you need to get dollar.
Yeah, which is true on a SWIFT system, but I think since this whole process is unraveled, a lot of people have come up with their alternative payment methods, or we saw some gold being shipped to and from Venezuela a while back, if it left, I don't know. And then we got Iran. I've heard a lot of stories in the past about them having banks set up in Russia or in China that they can use you can deposit $1 billion in a Russian bank under Iran's account type of thing. So they got ways of getting it done. But of course, the SWIFT wise, they can't do it in the SWIFT. Yes.
Can't do it in, it's too hard, too difficult.
Yeah.
And by all means, that the reason Russia has stepped in there is because Russia told the U.S. you guys had the gravy train, but you weaponized the dollar. So now we're going to have to diverse from the dollar because the mic, as your boy said today, the military industrial complex ain't letting go.
The mic. so I didn't hear that one.
You know, and that's the down and dirty. You know, you got to look at the oil because that's what everything revolves around. Everything revolves around the oil and the SWIFT system, and people are just fed up with it. That's why I don't feel there is going to be another war. I've already I heard that Iran's already asked for the S-400s.
Yeah, and if not already have them in play, I think. I mean, I want to say a lot of people who are enemies or we painted them as enemies, they've already acquired the S-400s, I think. Because Venezuela got them already, or the 300s, or whatever. So yeah, they already scattered around the world. Yeah, I wonder what they're going for.
Handing out like bubble gum.
For real, like I wonder, I wonder how much they cost. I wouldn't mind getting me an S-400 for my backyard.
I got one more for you, man.
Yeah.
I did see today that somebody put out there that Saudi, they had a drone camera over Saudi Arabia, and they said that it didn't look like there was 2 drone strikes that went against their oil plant.
There was not drone strikes?
Yeah, they said it did not.
Well, once again, it looks like, and I think this is all a part of like us having to continue to. So when the Saudi king came over, or prince came over a month ago or 2 months ago, whenever he came over last, sat in the White House and shook hands, they worked out all this stuff out at that point, saying that, hey, we need 3 or 4 false flags to really make it look like, you know, it's going down. So by June 1st, I need you guys in the Strait of Hormuz with some ships pointed at Iran so that we can go ahead and help you out. And so we're gonna put up a video of a drone strike, and so that'll be the strike 3, and then that'll be good for you guys to go ahead and bomb them. So this stuff has already been worked out, and so it looks like, as Pete just mentioned, nobody cares because it's not catching momentum. People aren't up in arms crying about, let's go help them, let's go defend them. People could give less than 3 clicks. It's unfortunate that they're still pushing war when the U.S. don't really care. And I think if they go, then people might get pissed because we got more than enough problems here that we should be, once again, concerning ourselves with our own issues, nevertheless going over there and helping other people and all that stuff. Excuse me. So, but we're going to find out I think, by June, by the middle of June, when summer hits full swing, we're going to know what's going on, whether this stuff's going to blow over or we're going to drop something.
No, it ain't gonna be either one. We're gonna just keep plugging along until Japan until Chinese can take over in the IMF. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Somebody gonna drop something. I think somebody gonna drop something to get something started. It's gonna be something. I mean, it looks like we're always fishing for the need to go defend somebody or to go free somebody, or so we need something. Like the U.S., we need something. So they're gonna create something to get something started. That's just how we do it. So That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm more confident that they're going to drop something sooner or later, because if they don't, the stock market going to drop, the bond yield inversion curve going to collapse, the crypto is going to take over, the dollar going to flop. So what do? You go create something.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong.
I know you like tea. I know you like tea.
I got it right here. I know I'm wrong, man, but hey, we'll see.
Let's keep our eye on it, man, and pray to the natural God that this doesn't happen, man, because we don't need more lives lost.
I agree, man. I agree 100%.
We don't need that. We need more lives saved and everybody on the same page.
Exactly. Well, Tony, man, I appreciate you calling in, my friend. Thanks.
All right, brother. Keep your head up.
Yeah, be good.
Bye.
Alrighty, so that is it. The last call of the evening. So for everybody that's hung out with us for an hour, appreciate you for hanging out. Let me see how many people are watching. And if you are still tuned in, as always, my last little plea. If you've enjoyed the back and forth, don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. More importantly, for those that are new to the channel, check out some of the resources beneath me or some of the things over here. And other than that, I'll be back tomorrow night, hopefully same time, same place, Lord willing. Other than that, stay played up, blessed, and everything in between. So peace. Have a good evening.